I had a dream to go to the league. Could run up a bag, but what does it mean? He picked up the plans, I hopped on the team. We ran it up when I let go of me.
If God knows before he creates, like say he creates me, he knows already what I'm going to do, correct?
Yes.
Now if he knows I'm going to hell, why does he choose to send me to hell? As opposed to send someone else to heaven. And you say he knows what I'm going to do. Why would he condemn me to that fate when I haven't even done anything?
I covered heaven and hell a lot in my last video, so if you guys want to see what I had to say on that, just go check the last video out, like it up and all that stuff. But just getting back to him, I just don't understand what exactly he's trying to land out here. Like, what are you even talking about? What does my knowledge of your actions have to do with me controlling your actions? If I go out here and rob a bank tomorrow,
alright, put the money in the bag! Put it in!
every single one of y'all knows that I'm gonna go to jail for that. But does that mean because you guys know that you guys are the ones who forced me to rob the bank? What type of logic is that? Some of you guys have friends who sell drugs. By y'all logic, you guys are complicit in their behavior. As a matter of fact, you're accomplices in their crime because you have prior knowledge that they were going to go do that and you didn't do anything about it. Matter of fact, taking it a step further, by y'all logic, how about I not arrest them and I just arrest you? Because you're the one who knew, and because you knew, you must be the one who caused it. You see how silly that sounds?
Okay, that's an excellent question. First point, God doesn't send you to hell. You send yourself to hell by rejecting
He knows what I'm going to do.
Good point.
Is he not sending me to hell?
Okay, good. You're right. He knows what you're going to do. Yes, sir. I agree with that. He's all-knowing. But when we say that God is all-knowing, we do not mean that God writes on a piece of paper, you will reject Jesus and go to hell.
But he does know that, doesn't he not?
But this is why he knows it. He knows it because he's eternal. Meaning by that, he is outside of time. Meaning by that, right now, God sees tomorrow. Which means it's due to God's perspective that he's all-knowing. It's not due to the fact that you're a little computer that he programs and then you have to do what he's programmed you to do. No, we don't mean that. Rather, we mean God's perspective is outside of the dimension of time. So God sees all of human history at one glance.
Well, then that would be saying that God does not know what I'm going to do and God is not all-knowing.
What do you mean? He just explained how it's all-knowing. Due to the fact that God sits outside of the dimension of time, he is not confined by the dimension of time. So what we would call the future, God sees right now. But wait, what we would call the past, God also sees that right now. There's nothing that you can see that he can't see. And there are plenty of things that we can't see that he can see because he sits outside of the dimension of time. So yes, he would be all-knowing because he knows all things that will happen and all things that have happened. That's what it means to know it all.
He sees it. He sees tomorrow. He sees the year 2000 right now.
So, does he know what I'm going to do or does he not know what I'm going to do?
He knows what you're going to do, but he has not programmed you to do it. You can freely choose to do it.
But he knows what I'm going to freely choose to do.
Exactly.
That's a contradiction.
Huh? How is that a contradiction? We do that every day. There are plenty of things that my girlfriend does all the time. I love you, my sweet. That I know that she's gonna do before she ever even does it. But that doesn't mean that I forced her to do it. How does that even make sense in your head? There's no logic in that.
No, it's not. Because his perspective is outside of time. See, that's why I'm trying to emphasize that. You see, it's the same way with his omnipresence. God can be in Calcutta, India, and in Austin, Texas at the same time. Now, I would agree with you. That's irrational in one sense, isn't it?
It's very irrational.
Right. It's irrational if you think that God is confined to a torso, the way you and I are. Then it's impossible to be in Austin, Texas, and in Calcutta, India at the same time. But Jesus in the Bible revealed that God is not confined to a torso. He's a spiritual being, not limited to a body. That is why, because he's outside of the dimension of space, he can be in Austin, Texas, and in Calcutta, India at the same time. He's outside of the dimension of space. He's not limited by space the way I am, the way you are. Similarly, God is not limited by the dimension of time. He's eternal. I got a birthday, man. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna have a death day. God doesn't have a birthday. God doesn't have a death day. He is outside of that dimension that you and I know is time. That is why God sees all of time at a glance. Because he's outside of the dimension of time. He stands above it. And that's why God's perspective allows him to see what I will freely choose to do tomorrow. I'm choosing to do it. But because of his perspective, he sees what I will freely choose to do.
Shout out to my man Cliff, man, once again. But I think one of the major problems with us is we just don't understand that God is infinitely greater than we will ever be. When we picture God, we picture someone who's close to us. And that's why we can't possibly understand how great he is. We can't understand a being who's omnipresent. We can't understand a being who's omniscient. We can't understand a being who's omnipotent because we're so limited. To lower God to our standards is insulting because he's not us. And to raise yourself up to the Most High is simply blasphemous. It's literally blasphemous. You've created an idol of yourself and raised it up to the Most High. And you can't do that because now God will take that as a challenge and say, oh, okay, you think you're God? Okay, now I'm going to show you why I'm God. I'm going to leave y'all with this verse, man, but y'all tell me if this sounds like a regular guy right here. Jesus says in Revelation 1:8, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, which is, which was, and which is to come, the Almighty. This verse just reminds me, man, we just got to stop raising ourselves up to be gods in our culture, man. It's become so common for us to talk about how we're gods or we're like gods or we're demigods. I seen a quote from KD the other day and he said he was God to a rookie because of how good he is at basketball compared to him. It's just too common, man. We just got to stop it, man. Some of y'all even be saying that, Johnny. Y'all be like, I am him. Y'all boys don't even understand. Jesus started that, John. Jesus said thousands of years ago, I am he. They asked, are you Jesus from Nazareth? He said, I am he. That's really all I got to say. I don't really want to make this video too long, you feel me? But I just had to go ahead and get that out there, man. I love y'all. If you're a kingdom warrior, tell these dudes to stop playing with Jesus, man. You feel me? But I'm going to catch y'all later. I love y'all. Y'all boys have a blessed day. Shalom.
Hey, we got that heavenly currency. All my dogs rich. Stacks you gather can't travel with you. That's why me and my dogs, we gathering treasure up in heaven. We rich forever.